Happy Juneteenth, everyone. Welcome to the Tracy Show. Now, let me just say this first. My daycare was closed today, right? But my hustle continues for YouTube. Give myself a hand. I said, I got to get up, start grinding and hustling, because you got to be posting. So look at here. Me getting up on Juneteenth after they done worked our ancestors to the bone. Y'all better like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You better do all that you know you're supposed to do. Yes, you better do all that you know you're supposed to do and some more. Now let's get into this story. Hold up, wait, I forgot to say this. Now this was a very sad story. So I'm going to make you aware right now. Trigger warnings. Trigger warning. Very sad. But I think it's something that we should talk about. Very important. Hold on, and then I'm going to come right back.
4 months in the hospital, Adriana Smith is being removed from life support today. Her story made national headlines after doctors kept the pregnant Georgia mother alive until they could deliver her baby.
At the center of this story, Georgia's 6-week abortion law. Doug Reardon is live at Emory Hospital for us. And Doug, you spoke to Smith's family today.
We did, Blair and Carly, and they're still very much processing this. Adriana Smith was declared brain dead in February. At the time, she was pregnant, but she was past that 6-week limit that is allowed here in Georgia for an abortion procedure. And so doctors have been keeping her alive here at the hospital since then until they could deliver her baby, which they did safely on Friday. Adriana Smith will be taken off life support today. A heartbreaking scene in an Emory hospital room as Adriana Smith's 7-year-old son Chase says a final goodbye to his mom minutes before she's taken off life support. Smith's family shared the painful video with us Monday as they prepared for a tragic moment 4 months in the making.
Very heartbreaking. We try to be strong. You know, it's very hard. It's very hard. For me and my family, it's very hard.
April Newkirk, Smith's mother, told us outside the hospital it's still hard to understand. In February, her daughter was admitted to the hospital with blood clots and never woke up. At the time, Smith was pregnant and passed the state's 6-week limit on abortions, doctors keeping her alive until they could deliver the baby, which they did on Friday.
I named him Chance because I felt like he had a second chance at life.
Newkirk says Chance is in the NICU, but doing well. The story grabbed national headlines and sparked an intense debate about one of the strictest abortion laws in the country.
And I just think this sparks something in everyone.
In a statement, the sponsor of the state's abortion law said, quote, Adriana's family and everyone who knew her are deeply saddened with her loss. Newkirk hopes her daughter's story will keep reigniting debate on abortion, women's rights, and the impacts that laws can have on families across Georgia.
You know, they didn't think about everybody in every situation. You know, they didn't think about the circumstances that happened.
And Smith's family says they are already planning her funeral arrangements. She just turned 31 last week in Midtown. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
Now let's get something clear first. Do I believe in unaliving the child? No, I do not. But do I believe in certain situations that you may not have another choice? Yes, I do. So, this strict, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but I'm going to say it anyway. Abortion law required them to maintain life support for months until the baby was born. And then I have another question. She was on life support for like 3 or 4 months. Who pays for that? then the delivery of the child, who's going to pay for that? Let's get into the story. The baby of a brain-dead Georgia woman who was kept on life support for months was delivered Friday, according to the woman's family, reigniting debates over medical consent and end-of-life decisions for pregnant women since the fall of Roe versus Wade. How does someone else get to make a choice for your child, for any family member? The state should have no say so when it comes to family, children, whatever. But let me keep going. The baby, a boy, weighed 1 pound, 13 ounces, the woman's mother said. The baby was named Chance. Now, the baby is very premature. 1 pound and 13 ounces. So now he's got to stay in there with no mom. Who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for all this? So if this happens, does the hospital just take on or just like cut it as a loss? No, they're not. So that means that her family is going to take on all these expensive medical bills. And for Chance, let's keep him in our prayers. But God forbid that there is something wrong with him, that he may need assistance all of his life, or assistance, in his younger years. There's so much to this. This just goes so much deeper. I mean, so much deeper that no one has the right, especially not a state or government, anybody, to interfere with anything of this nature.
Adriana Smith has been taken off of life support. That's according to her mother, April Newkirk. Smith had been on life support for nearly 4 months during her pregnancy after suffering a medical emergency connected to blood clots in her brain. The removal comes just days after the birth of her child, baby Chance, this past Friday. Her mother tells us he was born prematurely by emergency C-section and is now fighting in the NICU. The case drew national attention as it raised difficult questions about Georgia's abortion law. I sat down with April Newkirk last night, who says she's just trying to keep it together.
She shouldn't be. I shouldn't be burying my daughter. My daughter should bury me. And she had a lot to give. So I'm just trying to hold it together right now.
Many of you have asked how you can support the family during this time. Newkirk is asking people to keep them and baby Chance in their prayers. There is an online fundraiser created to help the family. We can link you to it inside of this story on our webpage, 11alive.com. You can also watch my full conversation with April Newkirk, streaming right now on 11 Alive Plus.
Adriana Smith, only 31 years old, was declared brain dead in February when she was about 9 weeks pregnant. Doctors told her family that maintaining life support was their only option because Georgia bans abort after fetal cardiac activity can be detected around 6 weeks. The Atlanta-based station 11 Alive reported. On Tuesday, Smith was taken off life support, according to the family. And as you just heard, I'm her mother, April Newkirk, 11 Alive, told in an interview, I should not be burying my daughter. My daughter should be burying me. Smith's story, as told by her family, has painted a picture of the consequences pregnant patients could face if they are no longer capable of making their own medical decisions in states where abort is largely illegal. As the case garnered nationwide attention, it spurred concerns about how healthcare providers consider the legal status of a fetus and its mother and their fears about violating the law. Smith's family said Georgia's heartbeat bill forced their hand. Quote, I'm not saying that we would have chose to terminate her pregnancy, Newkirk told 11 Alive last month. What I am saying is we should have had a choice. Smith's baby was delivered via an emergency cesarean section, Newkirk said. The baby was taken to the hospital's neonatal intensive care unit, or NICU, she said. The specifics of the care Smith received are unclear, and the Washington Post has not been able to independently confirm the details of the baby's delivery or the removal from life support. The Post was unable to reach Smith's family for an interview. Emory Healthcare, where Smith's family says she was treated, said it could not comment on individual matters and circumstances, citing legal requirements to maintain patient confidentiality. In a statement to the Post on Wednesday, Emory added that it uses conscious from clinical experts, medical literature, and legal guidance to support our providers as they make medical recommendations. In May, when news of Smith's situation emerged, Emory had also cited compliance with Georgia laws as one factor influencing its treatment recommendations for each patient. Signed in 2019, Georgia's law recognizes a fetus as a person, the legal status staunchly supported by anti-abort groups, came into fuller view after Roe was reversed in 2022, allowing states to codify fetal personhood measures. Such laws have introduced new issues of civil and criminal liability for providers of reproductive care, including abortion and in vitro fertilization. In May, the confrontation between Smith's care and the law metastasized into a greater conversation among lawmakers, activists, and advocates about Georgia's abortion ban. One GOP legislator who sponsored the ban said the hospital acted appropriately, but Georgia's Republican Attorney General said the law did not require medical professionals to keep a woman on life support after brain death. Smith first went to a hospital seeking treatment for headaches, according to 11 Alive, which first reported the story. She was given medication and released. By the end of the next day, Smith was declared brain dead, according to her family. A CT scan completed at another hospital had shown blood clots in her brain, but doctors weren't able to save her. According to 11 Alive, Smith's family said keeping her on life support was the only option they were given. Newkirk said in May, when Smith was around 21 weeks of pregnancy, that the plan was to keep her daughter on life support until she reached 32 weeks. Since Smith had been kept on a ventilator at an Emory hospital where she worked as a nurse, a fact Newkirk said she wanted others to know. The same field that she worked in is the same people who failed her, Newkirk told 11 Alive. Friday's delivery was a few weeks earlier than the doctors planned to deliver the baby. According to Newkirk, it's unclear why the emergency C-section was performed. So I wanted to know more about brain death. Are you considered like actually dead? And it was what I thought. Yes, brain death is considered legal and clinical death. Brain death occurs when all brain functions, including consciousness, breathing, and heartbeat, cease irreversibly. This is typically caused by a severe brain injury. Why in the world does anyone think they have or they should have control over that person and not the person's family? This woman was dead, and they actually had to watch her lay there for another 3 to 4 months. No. This is crazy. This is unacceptable. It's just like everything in this world is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. After brain death is diagnosed, life support measures such as mechanical ventilation may be discontinued. The body will eventually cease to function and die. It is important to note that brain death is distinct from coma and vegetative state, where some brain functions may still be present. That was a key reference that I wanted to point out. She was not in a coma. She was not in a vegetative state. She was brain dead. That means all functions are permanently lost, making it a definitive diagnosis of death. In an interview hours before Newkirk's daughter was taken off the life support, she said that she wished that her daughter could have had time with Chance as far as when the baby was brought into the world. Maybe the baby could have had skin contact, which is, when they lay the child on your chest and there is skin to skin, but that wasn't even possible. That situation right there wasn't even possible. I think this is horrendous. This is terrible. This is terrible for a family to go through. It's wrong. I know I get so involved in some of these stories. And I'm sorry. It's just like, it's just so frustrating that these things are happening. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts and opinions on the overturn of Roe versus Wade, and this story right here in particular? Don't forget to like, share, comment, and please subscribe. Thank you for watching. My prayers and my love and condolences are sent to the family, and my prayers are definitely holding up for Chance. She said that's why she named him Chance, because maybe he gets a second chance. So let's keep them all in our prayers and lift it up. Thank you.